talking about, well, kind of just experiences because like pretty much with hips in jumping, or your hips in jumping, because we haven't heard anyone talk about this topic before. But basically, like what we've noticed and observed quite consistently with most 2 foot jumpers hips is because they're repetitively jumping from like the same plant continuously. What starts to happen is your hips start to rotate a little bit and kind of misalign a little bit. And with what I personally notice is not necessarily when you're jumping, but more so when you're like in the gym or doing activities outside of that, like things like squatting or things like doing a Romanian deadlift and just other things like that, like more bilateral sort of movements.
Yeah.
Um, like, so what have been your experiences with this, Tom?
Well, I think the only time I remember was when you brought it up, and this was in like 2022, and you were like, "Why are you squatting like that?" I was like, "What do you mean?" And I think was it my left foot was slightly in front of my right when I was squatting, so it was like slightly uneven. And then if I looked at yours was your right foot was ahead of your left, kind of like how it is in jumping on 2 foot
Yeah,
because of opposite plans.
yeah. Yeah, no, definitely. Because when you plant, like, so I plant with a 2 foot jump, left, right. So my right foot is slightly more out in front than my left. And like when I do like a movement like a squat, like I've noticed that just kind of like more naturally happens or has
Mm.
happened. And then I saw yours like in 2022 and it was quite exaggerated, to be honest. Like it
Yeah.
almost looked like you're like doing half a lunge
Honestly, yeah, yeah, yeah.
of your squat. Yeah. And you didn't even notice it, did you? It was just like you're just squatting, you know?
Yeah, that's just like it just I felt like I was straight, like just,
Yeah.
both feet were like that.
Did you ever notice it doing it in like other movements? Like say, because you didn't notice it before I mentioned it, but after that, did you notice it through other movements like a deadlift or anything like that?
I don't think I ever did it on deadlift or RDLs because like you can kind of see your feet a little bit easier, so like you would correct for it.
Yeah. No, did you ever feel like your hamstring was more stretched than the other? Like even doing a deadlift or one hamstring's been tighter, more tight than the other?
Oh, to be honest, not really. I don't know. I didn't really notice like that many adverse effects for doing it that way.
No.
Yeah, no. And then just one day I decided to change it.
Yeah. So like did you like start trying to work on that like after? Or like I told you? Like
Yeah, yeah,
you're trying to even
yeah.
it
I just
out?
like made a more of a conscious effort, and then honestly, like a couple months, it was back to normal.
Yeah. Like did you kind of like slowly move your feet in?
It was more of a case of like every set I would just check, and then I'd have to like repat my brain to putting them straight, and even though it felt more awkward because that's not how I had been squatting, I just had to like kind of go through it that way.
Yeah, man. Talk about specific exercises. You're like trying to make your squat as specific as possible to
Yeah,
jump in
I was doing right
accidentally.
left squats.
Hey?
I was doing right left squats.
Yeah, pretty much. I'm just gonna close my curtain real quick. It's like banging. Can you hear that or no?
No, I can't hear it.
That's all right. Yeah, it's just annoying me because the wind was blowing. It was constantly banging. But anyways, all good. Um, but yeah, dude. No, that's funny. Um, like with that as well, like personally, like what I've noticed is like that's definitely happened to me with squatting, like 100%. Um, not as much anymore, to be honest, because I've been more conscious of it. But I did notice it with it, like with myself, like back in the day. Um, and more so like I think when I was doing like double leg, like not so much like conventional deadlifts, I didn't notice it as much, but more so with like Romanian deadlifts, I noticed it more.
That's interesting.
Yeah, so like my right hamstring was tighter than my left.
Your
So
right was tighter than your left. Okay, yeah.
yeah, because the hip was rotated forward.
Hmm.
So yeah.
But now you're pretty fine.
Well, yeah, I still have that like imbalance. It's always gonna be there because you're jumping, from the same plane continuously.
Yeah.
So if I wanted to even it out and fix it, like I would, just jump the opposite way. But what's the point in that? Like I don't care about that, you
Yeah.
know? I just want to jump as high as possible from like the same planet, so an imbalance is naturally gonna happen, right? Even like muscular wise, like my left quad, I know your right quad is stronger than your left, right as well.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. But that's just because like that leg spends a longer time on the ground, so you're getting more of a, I guess, quote unquote strength stimulus from it.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. 100%.
Um, but yeah,
Wait, what do you think about jump balance?
it just depends. Like for injury prevention, I think it's like overrated from like a dunking perspective, you know. But from a basketball perspective, like yeah, it makes a little bit more sense.
How about, okay, for yourself?
I don't care about it,
Yeah.
you
Yeah, fair
know.
enough.
I really don't think it matters at
No.
all, to be honest.
If you want to be elite, it's going to be very hard to do it on both plants. Or like, even if you want to be elite on one plant and you're focusing on left, right, right, left foot jumping, you're gonna have a hard time.
Yeah, no, 100%. Have you like tried? I've never seen you dunk from the opposite plant.
Like, I
Memory.
can.
You
Well, I went
can?
through a time period when I had really bad knee pain in 2019, and I was like, okay, if it's on my left leg and I plant left, right, left, if I just change to left, right, it should be fine. And it was like a little bit less painful,
And
but I
this was
think it's
in,
more a case that, huh?
this was in 2019?
Yeah, 2019.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I was like, oh, it hurts a little bit less, but I think it's just a case of I didn't have high enough output for it to hurt on my left, right, because it's like super unco. But I feel like I can definitely two hand, but I don't think I've windmilled off left, right. But that was 2019, so who knows now? It could be worse, it could be better. Yeah.
Yeah, you could be further down the rabbit hole.
Yeah, exactly. Honestly, I was like fresher then. I was newer to dunk training, so I was like more, I guess, open to new pathways, neurally.
Actually, like off topic, like h- how did you decide which plant you were going to jump with? Did it just kind of just happen without you thinking about it, or you had to like
It's
try
just how
both?
I jumped. It's just
Hey?
how I jump, bro.
So you didn't even think about it?
Nah.
No.
Literally day one, bro. I was like, fuck this 1 foot shit. I just started jumping right left.
Yeah. No, that's funny. Like for me, like when I first started learning 2 foot, I tried both, and then I had to like kind of decide which one felt better,
Well,
and just
you
pick
decided
one.
which one felt less bad, more
Yeah,
so.
yeah,
Because yeah, your 2 foot at the start was crazy. Crazy bad.
yeah, yeah. So no, I had to pick, but so ever since then, I've just jumped like left, right. But um, like I've always had like worse Achilles uh tendinopathy on my right one, and I've always attributed that to that just being a loading thing through it being loaded more through jumping because that's my block foot. So the Achilles and calf is loaded a little bit more in a more elastic way on your block foot. So I've always attributed that to just it just being loaded more throughout the week. But um, like in saying that, with the hips being misaligned and rotated and stuff like that, even doing other activities like I haven't actually like tested or measured this by any means or anything like that, but it might have been like say I'm doing a sprint, right? Or like
Hmm.
a double leg like pogo or something like that. Um I haven't actually like tested whether it's actually been loaded more throughout those activities or I'm biasing that side more or something like that or what the hell is going on there.
That's a good point. That's a good point, but I also think that in elite performance, asymmetries are inevitable. And if you spend all your time trying to avoid them, the asymmetries, you're not really going to get anywhere, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Obviously, if they're like causing issues and it's like becoming a limiting factor for whatever reason, then yeah, address it. But you look at the best sprinters in the world, Usain Bolt, he had asymmetries in his legs. Andre de Grasse, I think he was Rio silver medalist, 100 meters. I think he was at last Olympics as well. He has a really bad asymmetry in his like arms. So like one of his arms is like the normal typical sprinting, and these other ones kind of like a little bit of a chicken wing out to the side. Like it's really interesting, but he runs sub 10 100 meters, so there you go.
Yeah, the best athletes are masters at compensating.
100%, yeah.
Like if you think about it though, like there's is actually a good adaptation, like with your hips rotating because it helps when you go to jump. Like
Hmm.
it's beneficial when you go to jump, even in just in terms of injury prevention, it's beneficial when you're going to jump. Um,
Yeah.
but it's just when you go and do activities that aren't that, that's when like it hasn't caused anything major personally for me, but I could see that um like it doesn't I don't think it's caused problems, but it's just caused like what's the right word? Like I don't want to say like limitations because not really. It's just inconvenient,
Hmm.
I guess. I guess it's just an inconvenience is the right word,
Do you
you
think
know.
though, if you went to go do hikes for whatever, like you got into hiking like every day with your current, hips doing that one, do you think that would cause issues? Because hiking's like, tens of thousands of steps.
Nah.
You reckon you'd be alright? Because it's like
Yeah.
low intensity.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so it doesn't really cause issues, is what we're trying to say. I'm trying to think of like a scenario where it
Yeah.
would.
Yeah. Yeah. Um yeah, maybe, but like yeah, maybe.
How about
Like
for 1 foot though?
pardon?
How about 1 foot? What have you seen people like have imbalances with 1 foot? Like I've only really seen it in their quad and calf development on 1 foot. I've never really seen too much to do with the hips.
Well, yeah, well, you're gonna have more of an imbalance with one foot because you're only really using predominantly one leg the entire time you're jumping.
Yeah.
So so you're gonna have a major imbalance, and which like again, it's like, well, your body's adapting to the task at hand. Is that an issue? Like, no, not from what I've seen, not really. Like, like like the only way you could even that out is just through jumping off your opposite leg as much as you do, you know, with
Hmm.
your primary leg, but then that's just you're gonna lose like ability off your primary leg, so then your peak performance isn't gonna be as high.
Yeah.
Which that's the
That's
goal
the
you
way.
want. You're trying to elevate your, peak performance as much as possible. So
Yeah. I think if you're a 1 footer, very important. Well, obviously, yeah, it's important to go to the gym, but if you're a 1 footer, bro, and you're not doing fucking strength training, what are you doing? Are you gonna start walking around in circles and stuff?
yeah.
Because one leg is like just way big.
Yeah, just like the Simpsons episode, just like how Homer's got that one jacked arm,
Yeah, yeah. Was that Homer?
walking around with like one
Yeah,
jacked leg.
yeah, yeah,
And you walk like just rotating the entire time. Like with the
yeah.
other leg just swiveling around like you're like this, you know?
That's true though. That's what happens. That's what will happen, bro, if you don't fix your shit.
Yeah, yeah, no, that's funny. So that's just where like I guess like when I say like hasn't when I say it hasn't caused limitations, but it's just caused inconveniences, that's where like oh when I haven't sprinted in a while, like I'll need to ease into sprinting more carefully because it's like you know what I mean? Or just
Mm.
be more careful just implementing things again because of that. That's not jumping, um but yeah, man. You know, like have any of our athletes like
Well,
talked
I
to you about
honestly can't
this?
think of an example where it's become an issue.
Yeah, literally.
Like I'm just trying to think of like even a 1 foot jumper, Harrison. Not really like Harrison jumps right left as well, so that's super interesting. And he was fine.
Yeah, that's where like even on um like social media, I talked about doing a staggered stance Romanian deadlift instead of like a double leg, and that's the only thing. That's the only thing I've changed in my training. Um, to be honest, because of that, just because it feels better. I could still do a double leg and get used to doing it, but it just feels better doing it staggered and it feels a little bit more natural because of my hips. So
Also, for people watching, he means he does staggered both ways. He like right foot forward, left foot forward. He doesn't
yeah.
just do one.
But also the other reason I do it like that as well is because like I'm loading really only one leg at a time doing that.
Yeah.
And I'm doing 100 kilos. But I don't want to have to like do a 180 to 200 Romanian deadlift to get like a similar sort of stimulus on the muscle,
Mm. I think they both have a time and place as well.
you know?
Yeah.
So like yeah. Like imagine doing a 200 RDL for like 5 reps.
That's all right.
Like I don't know, dude. Like I don't know. That just seems
Nah, you're
a bit
right. You're right.
extreme,
High
man.
rep RDLs are fucked. Hate them.
Yeah. Or yeah, imagine having to do like 10 reps of like 200,
Yeah.
you
Well,
know?
I did 200 for eight a couple like a month ago, and bro, you die. You
Well, you
die
did
the next
200
day.
for 8.
Well, I actually did 210 for eight RDL.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
Why didn't you post that?
Oh, I just put on my story.
I don't even remember that. You gotta send me that.
Yeah, I'll send it to you
That's insane, dude.
in
Yeah.
the Ollie shoes as well.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Have you
But
ever
yeah,
tried
like the next day soreness is crazy.
have you ever tried doing like a staggered?
I've done it with I've done it with dumbbells before, but I've never really like done barbell.
Do you know it's actually the other really good way to do it? Is to just do it in like do a single leg one but in a Smith machine.
Yeah, it's kind of the same thing, isn't it? Just the Smith
Yeah.
machine's acting as your other leg, like really.
Or or another really good way is to do it with the landmine, but
Yeah,
the limiting factor there is grip. So you can hold the landmine because you're holding the fat part, the fattest part of the barbell.
yeah.
So you can do that, but you can also like you can also well because grip's going to be a limiting factor. You can one use strap or two grab it with 2 hands. But even then, it's like oh shit, you can only load one side of the barbell, so you're gonna run out of weight that you can put there.
Yeah, true, true. Like it's not horrible though if you're like a beginner.
Yeah, that's the thing. But when you're getting to like your sort of level, it's kind of like oh shit, what do I do?
Yeah,
You
time to
know,
get in the squat rack.
like you're gonna have to change gym soon because you can't fit weights on the bar properly. So you're gonna have to start using calibrated plates.
Yeah, bro. All Revo just gets 25s. Like,
Yeah,
come on.
no, they're not gonna do that.
No,
Yeah,
they're not.
yeah,
They just won't.
yeah.
They should, but yeah. Oh,
This
hello.
this is on air, by the way, babe. This is the podcast. Yeah. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, well, all good. All
To be
good.
fair though, to be fair, she was blurred out, so
Yeah, you're blurred out. No one saw you. Don't worry. Right. But
oh
yeah,
by the
dude,
way, her Instagram's at
that's the struggles of becoming elite. Like even like a hip thrust, dude. Actually, with this whole hip thing, where I really noticed it, to be honest, was on a hip thrust. Actually, doing a
yeah,
double leg hip thrust. I think part of that was like the muscular imbalance though as well, but also I think the hips played a role. Like I remember doing my yeah, doing my right side on a hip thrust, like if I do a single leg, feels way different to my left side. Like the glute, I can't feel the glute as much, it just feels weaker. And then I do my left side, it just feels like magical.
yeah, right.
So that's where yeah, because I haven't done hip thrusts in a long time and I stopped doing them. That's one reason why I stopped doing them because it just felt terrible. They just
Yeah,
didn't feel good.
yeah,
And two, I was like getting to the point where I was like doing 250 on the bar, like super easy, like, you know, for like 8 reps. And I could have probably done like 12.
yeah. Well, it's like
Yeah.
at that point you were just training your fucking spine's ability to not snap in half.
Yeah.
Like you weren't even, yeah, it's not worth.
Yeah. So that's why I stopped doing it because I'm like, yeah, like I'm just, and it was getting to the point where I couldn't even like set the movement up because of the amount of weight I had to put on it. And it's just really crazy awkward to do,
Mm,
you know?
yeah, for sure. Yeah,
Like,
not worth injury risk. Just squat,
like
bro.
Like for you, like, if you put hip thrust in your program, like, what are you going to do? Just hip thrust like 350 every week?
Yeah, but I just
Again?
think that like,
Like-
yeah,
Well, you know what I'm talking about? Like,
yeah,
so
bro.
that's where,
There's
like,
other things you can do. Like they definitely have a time and place for sure.
bro, this can go into like a whole, like, another debate, Like, we should make that, like, this is what we did last time. We talked about our next podcast topic, but, that's where we can talk about our next podcast topic. It's almost just like, uh, for me, it's almost like a half squat versus a full squat. It gets to a certain point where, like, you know, when you're just getting so elite that it's just kind of like, you know, you're gonna put 400 on
Yeah,
the bar, like quarter squat, or you can do a
yeah,
half, or you can do a full squat and just do 160 for the same
yeah,
reps. You know?
yeah. But people say that though. They're like, say someone's like kind of weak and they're like, oh, I don't want to put 180 kilos on my back to do these calf raises. It's like it's bad for my back, whatever. But then you've got people like, I mean, maybe it's a bad example because he's not natty, but you got these Olympic weightlifters like Clarence Kennedy consistently putting 250 plus on their back, squat like full squats, ass to grass, maybe even a little bit of butt wink.
How many times is he training a week though? Do you know that?
I think it's he's had times where he's been training like 9 times a week, and times where he's trained like twice a week. So he's very well trained though.
Yeah. But yeah, he would manipulate his like loading quite a bit.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, he's very interesting. But again, it's like comparing apples to oranges. Olympic weightlifter juiced up versus natty basketball player. Like it's kind of unfair.
Yeah, but for most people listening to this, like, you know, they're like likely not going to run into these issues like soon.
Yeah,
So, you know, these are just all little problems. Let it
yeah.
track.
If you do run into these issues, that's okay. We can help you out because we've run into these issues. We've had people also run into issues who've gotten too strong. It's all good. We'll sort it for you.
Yeah, 100%. All right. Well, without further ado, if you guys are wanting to sign up for coaching, you can click the link down below and we'll catch you guys in the next JumpX podcast.
Peace.